impressed by her face.
You want to go get a cracker?
Thank you very, very much. My name is Bill Poole. I'm Executive Director here at the Canadian Clay and Glass Gallery. It's my pleasure to welcome you all this afternoon for the opening of Trajectories. But I want to begin by acknowledging that we're gathered here on territory that was part of the Great Dish, shared by the neutral Anishinaabe and Haudenosaunee peoples. The Canadian Clay and Glass Gallery is situated on the Haldimand Tract, land ceded by the Crown to the Six Nations that includes 6 miles on both sides of the Grand River. So I want to start, if I may, by pointing out to you an ad, a full-page ad that was on the back of the Arts and Life section of the Record yesterday, and which begins at the top with "Let's Celebrate." And as you'll see, it's a great ad designed by Scott Lee, what it's basically telling the community is that we're back. The gallery had been closed for renovations since the 1st of September. And as you'll see from the plywood hoarding that's up around, like most renovations, it didn't quite get done, but 85% of it is done, including new roof, HVAC equipment, all new lighting here throughout the gallery spaces. And in that regard, I would like to recognize and thank Bob Walsh, who's here with his wife Carol. And Bob is the, I may not get your title right, but basically the lead lighting designer at the ROM. And I hired Bob probably 4 years ago to come and work with me and Christian Singer at the time to spec what we needed in terms of lighting. And so invited Bob and Carol to come, and you deserve a special round of applause. Because as Sheila said last night after the awards when we were leaving, hey, guess what? We don't have to leave the lights on all night. So what we used to do after we lit a show, if we needed it to be properly lit the next day, we just leave the lights on all night, because had we not, 20% of them would be out the next day when we turned them on. So this has introduced us to a wonderful new world, Bob, and thank you very much. I'd also like to recognize, we have our board members here, Rebecca Short, Marilyn Allen, Sohail Esfahani's here, I believe. Who else? Who am I missing? Board members, hands up. Sorry if I've missed any of our board members. Our board chair, Tom Mennel, is not able to be here today. He sends his regrets. Tom, as most of you know, never misses anything, but he wasn't able to come this afternoon. And I also want to recognize Anne Roberts, who, as you know, is the one of the real founders of the Canadian Clay and Glass Gallery. As such, is clay and glass royalty, and we're delighted every time she's here for an event. So welcome, Anne. And also, where's Kuhn? Koen van der Stukken is here somewhere. Who's head of glass at Sheridan College. He's, well, there you are, Koen, there you are. Koen van der Stukken, head of glass at Sheridan College, so absolutely delighted that he's here today. He's on, I think he's on a sabbatical at the moment, so he's freewheeling and just enjoying what's here this afternoon. Now, before I hand things over to Sheila McMath, I just want to acknowledge and thank the funders who support the gallery on an ongoing basis. City of Waterloo, the Ontario Arts Council, Canada Council for the Arts, multiple donors and funders and sponsors and members, many of whom are here today. And in particular, if you've seen the rack card for Trajectories, with Julia Reimer's beautiful work on the front, you will see that it says, this exhibition has been made possible in part by a contribution from the Kitchener and Waterloo Community Foundation, Musagetti's Fund. And Valerie Hall, who is here, represents the Musagetti's Fund, Michael Barnstein and Louise McCallum, who are the source for that fund and so much other philanthropic activity in our community. So Valerie, we're absolutely delighted you're here, and please thank Michael and Louise on behalf of everyone here. Very, very grateful for your and their ongoing philanthropy. And because Valerie isn't probably able to stay just until after the remarks to meet the artists, I did have a chance to introduce her to Montserrat and Julia and Ito. So, but in any event, if you haven't, at least you, and Rachael Wong is right beside you there, so you can meet her as well. But anyway, if you're able to stay for a bit, but I know you have company coming. So anyway, it's a wonderful afternoon, and I also want to do now something that I failed to do last night, and I apologize to them. But if you had been here on Thursday, if any one of you had walked in here on Thursday and seen the windows going in, the construction equipment, the artists nervously putting up their glass work, and honestly, you would not have believed that we would have had the award ceremony last night and the opening of Trajectories today. And so the people, Sheila, of course, and her staff, and she will thank them, but I thank Sheila, Catherine Ronzio, who was involved in everything last night, making it work, Willie Lewatsky, who, when there's anything in this space, is front and center, and all our staff, Nadine and Tsukiko, and everybody who worked so hard. So they too deserve a round of applause. So, and finally, I should have said that the renovations that I've referenced, which are largely finished now, is a $1.3 million worth of work. That included the lights, etc. And that was funded by the City of Waterloo and the Canada Cultural Spaces Fund. So we're very grateful to both the city and CCSF for making this happen. So now it's my pleasure to turn things over to Sheila McMath, our curator.
Thanks, Bill. Thanks to everyone for being here this afternoon. This exhibition, Trajectories, presents the work of 7 artists who won the RBC Award for Glass between 2008 and 2016. The exhibition features new work by these artists, illustrating the growth in their artistic practice and output stimulated by winning this prestigious award. So 3 of the artists featured in this exhibition, Benjamin Kikkert, Brad Turner, and Oussoren, are not able to be here this afternoon, but we are fortunate that Julia Reimer, Rachael Wong, Cheryl Wilson Smith, and Laïla Le François are here today. So before I invite the artists up to speak briefly, I have many people to thank. Bill alluded to it, but I'm gonna do it again because it's worth it. So I'd like to thank Suki Kyo, who's the gallery's new curatorial and collections assistant, for her excellent work over the past few weeks. I'd also like to thank my installation team, led by Sandy Gordon. And many others who are present here today helped with the installation of this very complex installation. So I'd like to thank Judy Donaldson, Stephen Hawes, Karen Flesher, Veronica Morosky, Lucia Lakotas, Nadine Semick, Hannah Vega, Michael Ambedian, Jerry Davidson, and Dave German. And I'm just going to thank my colleagues again, Catherine Ronzio, Nadine Bedron, William Lewatsky, Katie O'Connor, Jana Kozamora, Chloe Blair, and everyone who helped to make this installation happen. So now we'll hear from the artists. That's what we're here for. So Julia Reimer was the inaugural recipient of the RBC Award for Glass in 2008. Her works explore an aesthetic inspired by the simplicity of crisp prairie light and windswept landscapes. Her original design and meticulous craftsmanship have been recognized through scholarships and awards from the Alberta Foundation of the Arts, the Corning Museum of Glass, and the Canada Council for the Arts. So let's welcome Julia Reimer.
Sorry. Hi there. I'd just like to thank my friends and family for coming to this event. It's always a little bit terrifying when you go to an opening in a city that you're not from. You're not sure if you're going to know anybody there. I'd like to also thank Sheila McMath for including me in this exhibition and for all her hard work putting it together. The other day I was looking for an email on my computer, and I just realized like how many emails Sheila had sent me over the past year and a half, and I can't even imagine how much work that was. So thanks, Sheila, for including me in this and for all your hard work to make it happen. And I was reflecting about my pieces in the show and the work that went into making them, and I just feel like it's one of those kind of key points in your career as an artist to have an opportunity to exhibit new work. And I just feel so lucky to have had that opportunity, to be able to have the chance to experiment and explore and take risks and try new things. So thanks again to the gallery for having an exhibition and encouraging us to show, or wanting us to show new work. So thank you.
Okay, and the next artist is Rachael Wong. Rachael Wong, winner of the RBC Award for Glass in 2010, holds a BFA in Glass from the Alberta College of Art and Design and an MFA in Sculpture and Dimensional Studies from Alfred University. She's a past resident of the Art Studio at Harbourfront Centre and the Living Arts Centre. And Rachel's work is in the other gallery, in the Dr. Douglas Wright Gallery. I'll invite her up to speak.
Hi. So my piece, Glass Flooring, is in the other gallery, as Sheila said. And I started that work because I was interested in the idea of domestic space. So I started by looking at historical pattern of wallpaper and tile, and I was looking into the history of the kitchen and kind of getting a feel for that. And then in my home, I started to draw the shadows and reflections I found throughout the home. And then I take those and they were manipulated on the computer to kind of resemble motifs from those old patterns. Those were then sent to get water jet cut in glass and brass and laser cut in steel to make the floors. So I was looking for this relationship between craft and industry. And I had wanted the pieces to be machine cut but maintain some kind of hand-drawn quality. So yeah, I'm just really interested in kind of this idea of a public and a private space and outside and inside. So thanks a lot for everything, and I'd also like to thank the Ontario Arts Council, because I had a grant to make that piece from that. And if you have any questions throughout the afternoon, feel free to ask me anything. Okay, thanks.
So Cheryl Wilson Smith has work on these pedestals here and in the same space as Rachel's. Cheryl Wilson Smith was the recipient of the RBC Award for Glass in 2014. By manipulating the physical characteristics of powdered glass, Cheryl strives to capture the emotion of the natural world that surrounds her. She lives in northwestern Ontario in the boreal forest of Red Lake, a mining town where she's able to explore her connection to the land. Let's welcome Cheryl.
here. I'd like to thank, first of all, RBC. Without this, we all couldn't be here. And the Clean Glass Gallery for doing this. I have met the most wonderful people this week. Canadian artists that I would have never met otherwise. And we've had the most magnificent hosts here in Kitchener. So we've been really, really fortunate, and what an amazing opportunity. Thank you, guys. For me, my work is driven by the landscape. It's the landscape as time passes. I'm always amazed that that granite rock will be there long after I'm gone. And also genetic memory. I wonder what we carry forward with us that translates into our work. I make my work using powdered glass, or as we call it, fret, and building it up layer by layer, firing it as a whole in the kiln, kind of like 3D printing, firing it as a whole till it's a solid piece. So it's pretty interesting for me, meditative, and always engaging when I pull it out of the kiln, because I'm not sure what I get, just like most people probably. But I really enjoy the process. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me later. Thank you all for coming.
So Ito Laïla Le François, winner of the RBC Award for Glass in 2015, has work in the Round Beer Stock Gallery there. She holds a diploma from Maison d'Art de Matière in Quebec in sculpture and a diploma from Espace Verre in Montreal with honors. Let's welcome Ito.
Hello. First, I'm very happy and proud to be part of this show. It's an honor. Thank you to all the team who were here and RBC, Clay and Glass, everything. So I'm living in the northeast of Quebec, and I did the piece in the round space in Norway during a residency in glass blowing. This work, I Can't Stop Thinking About Love and My Body, is my personal position in front of disaster at sea. So many ideas in this installation: overfishing, refugee situation on the boat people, and my position in front of those situations. So if you have questions, just come and talk with me. Thank you.
So I just, am I on still? Yes. So I thought of two more people that I need to thank. John and Rebecca Short and Wynn and Al Rosenberg, billeted artists, to be here, the artists who are from out of town, and that's such an important part of building the arts community and having artists meet interesting people. So that was great. Thank you to John and Rebecca and to Wynn and Al for building artists. So I'd just like to thank everyone again for coming this afternoon, and please stay, enjoy the afternoon, ask me lots of questions, ask the artists questions, spend time with the work, and thanks to everyone. Thank you very much.
And I will just wrap up by saying that it being an opening, if you are a member, you get a 20% discount in the shop today. And if you're not a member, you better become one and then take your 20% discount. So it's great to have everybody here. And I think when I was introducing board members, I forgot Jerry Davidson, who's over there. Did I mention you, Rebecca, or no? I did. Okay. My apologies if I missed anybody. I'm looking around carefully. But have a lovely afternoon and meet all the artists, ask some penetrating questions, and have fun. Thank you.
you.